Hey guys, this is Joel here with the Kwak Brothers. Some of you guys may know me as Daniel and Sam's right-hand man, and I will be talking today about how I almost got scammed acquiring an Airbnb deal. To start off, guys, I want to start with you guys in the beginning, right? So obviously being around Daniel and Sam so much, having them really mentor me, coach me on real estate, I was looking specifically for an Airbnb deal. So all the way from the beginning with finding deals, what I was doing is messaging people on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. I was doing for rent signs, right? I was calling and leaving voicemail. So I was doing the for rent strategy, right? Where I would call people that are, having their property for rent and hopefully being able to do what's called renter arbitration, or maybe even having owners that were interested in selling, right, that I'd be, doing for an Airbnb. And so in the area that I was looking for, it was near a couple of wedding venues. It was about 5-10 minutes away from a really popular downtown area here in the suburbs of Chicago where people like to go to, go to restaurants. There's a lot of events over the weekend. There's a lot of that good stuff. And so I did my research and I looked at a couple properties within that I wanted to look for. And so I had a specific strategy in when I was looking. And so I would say I hit up approximately 10, 15, maybe 20 different properties in a span of 1 month around this specific area. And one of the things that I should have done a little bit better, guys, is track it, because I honestly just sent a bunch of stuff out. But basically, I had sent out, and it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house that was in a perfect location for Airbnb. I had looked at my data, I had done my due diligence to go ahead and look to make sure it was gonna go ahead and give me the return that I want, and the numbers made sense. So I was like, you know what, let's entertain this, right? This might be a good deal. And so right off the bat, right, the seller, quote unquote, what I thought was a seller, emailed me back. And to really summarize what it had to say is, he mentioned that him and his wife were missionaries, right? That had had to drop all their things and go over to Kentucky. They were doing some in-country missionary work, right? Helping the poor, right? Just spreading God's word. And so for me, right, loving Jesus myself, I was like, wow, I kind of trust him now. He's smart. He used that. And so I was like, you know what? Awesome. You guys, what you guys are doing are awesome. I really want to find a way where I can provide value for them, right? I wanted to help them as well. Because at the end of the day, they were missionaries. Wow, there can be a space where I can help them. And so I let them know, I said, hey, I was interested in renting and leasing, but here's what I got planned, right? I'm planning to go ahead and set this up as an Airbnb, VRBO, right? As a short-term rental where you in Kentucky, you don't have to worry about anything. I will make sure that it's working. I will pay your lease, short-term or long-term. I'm willing to go ahead and talk about that, but I was gonna go ahead and take the difference. And so I live not too far from this property. So then I go look at it and I go look around it. There's no one there. It's a vacant property from what it looks like. And I liked it a lot. I liked it as much that I actually wanted to buy it. In the email, he had mentioned that before they left, that they did try to sell it, but the real estate agent that they were working for had, the asking price, he had put too much, and they weren't even looking for that price. And so they weren't able to sell it. And so they were kind of stuck and they ended up just putting it to lease to make it easier, right? They didn't want to go through that process. So, fast forward a little bit, I emailed them, we get in contact, I get on the phone with this guy and I say, hey, I have no problem paying a lease, but here's what I plan to do, right? Here's what I plan to do. But after really talking the situation, this would be a perfect, guys, I'm talking about a perfect situation for seller financing. And so here's when I call Daniel, say, Daniel, I have this going on. Hey, would you be able to help me negotiate this with him? Because Daniel is a freaking master at negotiating seller financing, and I want Daniel to be on this call. And so I told the guy, hey, I have this better idea that I think might benefit you. And I kind of left them off a hook there, right? Something that he kind of wanted to bite too. Keep in mind, right, this is obviously a scammer. You guys have seen the title. He was very, very good at acting. He was a phenomenal scam artist is what he was. But let's fast forward, right? And so we get on a call with him, me and Daniel, and we listen to what he has to say. We tell him, hey, we have no problem, like I said, giving you the rent, and then we pitch him seller financing, right? We go back and forth like it's a real negotiation, right? Hey, I don't know if I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. I need to talk to my lawyer, this and that. And what you usually have in a negotiation. And so he said, you know what, if the terms look good, we agreed on terms, which I was so pumped about. And then we agreed on terms after a couple minutes of negotiating, which right there, that was a kind of of a flag right there. Because typically you probably struggle a little bit more in the negotiation. There's a little bit of a harder work. And so we kind of felt like it was too easy. But right before we ended the call, this is what he said, guys. And this is one of the second flags that we did see that was okay. My heart was kind of broken at this point when I heard this, and you'll see why. So at the call, once we're done, she said, "Great, Joel. I'm excited. I'm happy that we're able to figure something out as long as the contract looks good, blah, blah, blah." Read the terms. He said, "If you can, in order for you to send me the keys for the house," because guys, I'd yet to step foot into this property. He said, "In order for me to send you the keys, you will have to send me $500 through MONEYGRAM." Yes, freaking MONEYGRAM. All right. And if you guys don't know what MONEYGRAM is, it's basically a way to transfer money where it's not trackable. It's basically like giving someone cash and them running away with it. And so right then and there, I was like, okay, this is not going very well. And so we kind of ended up in the call. Look, we have no problem giving you $500 in earnest, kind of like an earnest money, but we are not sending you any money until we step foot in this house, right? We're not going to send any money. That's stupid. And so one of the things that helps a lot, guys, if I didn't have Daniel, if I didn't have Sam, if I wasn't surrounded by investors that have done it already, guys, I'll be honest with you, I probably would have sent him the money. Probably. And I would have got scammed and I would have lost $500. But I didn't. Daniel said, "No, we're not sending anything until we get anything under contract or we step foot in this house. It's not going to happen." And so we ended up saying, "Fine, right, we'll get another contract and then I'll send you guys the keys, whatever," right? And so I said, "Hey, send me the information for your lawyer so that our lawyer can contact your lawyer and we can make sure everything is agreed upon, that the terms make sense for you, for me, continuing." After this call, Sam had, kind of overheard this too, and he mentioned, doesn't really feel right. And so I looked up the address under the tax assessor's public website, and the sellers didn't match up. This guy whose name was blank was not matching up with what was in the actual official website. And so bam, that's when I knew, this is it. This is not the seller. This is not the actual person, but you know what? It might be. There was a 5% chance that maybe there was a miscommunication. So what I did next is I called the lawyer that he had mentioned that was his lawyer. And so I called, I left a voicemail, said, "Hey, Mr. Lawyer, I have this person I'm negotiating with and I'm looking to buy a property from. He mentioned that you were his lawyer, but I feel like I'm getting scammed, right? Is this your client? Is it not?" And I got a call 5 minutes later say, "Hey man, this is not my guy. I have no clue who this guy is. Never heard of him before," right? So guys, obviously at this point, I was like, okay, this guy is a scammer, but maybe there's just a 1% chance that it might not be, and we still might be miscommunicating, right? So I called them and I say, "Hey, sir," who was the scammer, right? "I called your lawyer and he mentioned that he had no clue who you were." He responded saying, "Well, you weren't supposed to go ahead and communicate. I didn't give you permission to talk to my lawyer. So he's not supposed to." Just like, okay, that kind of makes sense, but not really, right? And so continue on. Sam came up with an amazing idea. Guys, this is phenomenal. Sam's a bit of a tech nerd, as you guys, get to know him, might find out, but he go ahead and he made up a link. With this link, we could go ahead and track this man's IP address, where it's from, what country, some of his info. What I did is I texted him saying, "I emailed you a link for the confirmation of the $500 that I sent you." I didn't actually send him the money, right? I just wanted him to click on that link. We got a notification that he clicked on the link, and guys, guess where this guy was from? Nigeria. This was a scammer that was obviously knew what he was doing from the country all the way Nigeria. So he obviously wasn't a missionary. He wasn't whatever he said he was. He was a scam artist. At that point, I was like, wow, this guy is actually really smart. He can be out finding deals, finding off-market deals. And so I texted him, guys, and we'll show you the text. I texted him, say, "Hey, do you have any kids? Why do you do this? blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to know, hey, like, I kind of wanted to get more of an understanding of why he was doing this. And I come to find out from what he said is that in Africa, apparently, there's really bad stuff going on, and that he started going on that his wife got killed, and that he needs money for his 3 kids. And guys, I don't know if that's true or not. Obviously, he had lied to me this whole entire time.
Do you know about the xenophobia that is ongoing in South Africa?
No, what is that? Tell me about it.
This is a current situation that is happening in West Africa right now, in which the South Africans destroying and killing other African countries like us. So I was in South Africa with my family. I lost my wife, and I had to run for my life from South Africa back to Nigeria as a result of the xenophobia with my kids.
How old is your kid?
I have 3 kids. One is 15 years old, the other one is 11 years, and the last one is just 6 years old. A lot of Africans are suffering right now. So I had to find a way to make myself and my kids earn a living because there is no job down here.
I don't know if what you're saying is true or not. It's not my business to know if it's true or not. All I know is what you were doing was wrong, and you just need to stop doing it. That's it. Stop doing it, and find something else. Just don't do the wrong thing. God will not bless you if you're stealing people's money.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for that.
More of the story is this. If I didn't have people like Daniel and Sam, I probably would have gotten excited and say, yeah, I'll send whatever I need to as long as blah, 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 right? Have the right people around you. Make sure that you're talking with your lawyers. Make sure that you're actually investing time, knowledge in developing good relationships. Guys, Daniel is one of my best friends now. And so without him, I probably would have messed up a lot of times. I definitely wouldn't be in the spot that I am today. Guys, and that is a story of how I almost got scammed. All right, and guys, remember, make sure you guys go ahead and click subscribe to get more stories like this, right? We're gonna have more as we go ahead and do more deals, right? Make sure you click subscribe, make sure you like, and most importantly, click on the bell icon to make sure you guys get notified of videos to come.